Morning. They'll need to air their grievances for a little while, but they'll quiet down. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The worst thing about doing frequent pasture moves with cattle is that every time they see you, they think they're getting a new pasture. To their credit, today is the day that they'll move, but that's not till this evening. So what, oh what, will we be doing today? Any guesses? That's right, I gotta keep going on this corral fence. I'm sorry if some of you guys are getting sick of this project, but this has really gotta be done. I'm not planning to spend the whole day, or the whole video, I should say, working on this fence, but I at least wanna get some done on it this morning. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. Yesterday I came out and worked on this and I got quite a bit done. I got 2 more spans here and then half of the next one. And what I've been doing, which seems to be a little more efficient, is I'm just going through and cutting all my notches first, and then I'm tacking these pipes up and then going back and completely welding them all at the same time. So I'm really just splitting up these jobs and doing them together rather than switching from one thing to the other. And while that does make the day feel a little bit longer, it definitely makes the project go a little bit faster. I also went ahead and roughly cut all of my pipe for the remaining span, so I've just got them leaning up here ready to go, and that is just one less step that I will now have to do from here on out. You guys are getting curious, I can tell. Maybe I need to turn this hot wire on. Hey, who messed the gate up? If you've been wondering how I keep the cattle out of my way while I'm working on this corral, I've just got this single hot wire up here across this span, and it seems to be keeping them out of here. Although there are times, especially with the calves, when you can tell they're very curious and they would love to get out over here and sniff the new fence and see what's going on. Callie, get out of there. Well, it's only gonna get hotter, so let's get all the tools unloaded and get a little bit done on this. I ordered another 12-pack of these Markall paint pens, and I'm worried that they're not gonna show up until I'm done with the fence. I just hope that this one can make it to the end. What's been a few seconds for you has been a few hours for me, but I've got all of the pipe cut and notched all the way down up into this last span. I haven't Haven't notched this pipe yet, so I've got 4 more to go, but I think this is probably as far as I will get today because I still have to hang all this and weld it up. A question that I've actually not been asked, and I'm kind of surprised by that, I figured someone would have asked this by now, is why am I using a plasma cutter instead of an oxyacetylene torch to cut all of this pipe? And there's really only one main reason, and that is just that the plasma cutter is a little bit faster than the torch. And when I started figuring and calculating all of the cuts that I was gonna have to make, using the plasma cutter actually ends up saving a lot of time, even though it's a little bit more of a hassle to set up because I've got to have an air compressor out here and I've got to run it off of the generator. But still, even considering those factors, it's faster, so that's why I'm using it. For those of you that don't know how a plasma cutter works, it's basically like an arc welder and an acetylene torch had a baby. Basically, the plasma cutter makes an arc from the cutter to the workpiece and then uses compressed air to blow that molten metal out of there. Generally speaking, plasma cutters are a little bit more precise than torches, although people that are good with torches can make some pretty awesome cuts. I'm not necessarily one of those people. I think I'm a little bit more precise or more accurate with the plasma cutter than I am with the torch, but either one would work. Somebody did ask what kind of plasma cutter I'm using, and this is a Hypertherm PowerMax 30. Don't get too excited because they don't make these anymore. They actually make, I think it's a PowerMax 35 now, that is a little bit bigger and probably a lot better than this one. This is one of the first ones that Hypertherm came out with, I think. This is several years old now. It gets the job done. I wouldn't mind having a bigger one, but for 99% of the stuff that I need to cut, this little guy will do it. If I have to cut anything thicker than that, then I've always got my torch. All the pipe that I notched today is now hanging on the post, and this is kind of a cheap victory because on the one hand, we see exactly what the fence is gonna look like, which is cool. But in reality, there's still a ton of welding that needs to be done. I found it to be more efficient to just tack these up in place and go through and get them all hung. And then when I do the finished welding, I can just do that all in one step, and that seems to be going better that way, so that's what I've been doing. But what it means now is that I've got a bunch of welding to do. Well, now I can enjoy this a little bit more with all the welding done. All that's left on this fence line now is this last little section here, which is only 4 more pipes, which I already have cut out, just need to notch them and hang them. And of course, I'll need to hang my gate up down here on this end and make some sort of a latch system for it. It should be pretty easy to get all of that stuff done within a day, whenever the next day is I get a chance to work on this, hopefully soon, because, you know, it won't be long before I need this fence. For today though, I think this is about as far as we're gonna go with it. A long time ago, I learned that when you calculate the supplies that you're gonna need for a project, to always buy a little bit more. This applies to a fence project like this. It applies to seed, fertilizer. Anytime you think you know how much you need of something, it's always a good idea to buy a little bit more. Assuming that whatever that thing is something that you will need again in the future or something that you can easily return. In the case of oil pipe, I know that I will always need oil pipe. We've got a long way to go before I reach the point where I won't need to be buying any more of this stuff. So the last time I went up and got pipe, I did buy a little bit extra like I've been trying to do. So I'm looking at my little pile of leftover pieces here, and I've got about enough of the 2 7 round pipe to make 7 posts, and I've got about 50 linear feet of the 2 3/8 altogether. It's chopped up in mostly 10-foot sections and I think one 20-foot section, but I'm almost starting to feel like there's enough here to do something with. So here are the options that I'm considering. First one, I've got enough posts to do all the posts for this line of fence here. You guys know, I've mentioned before how embarrassed I am of this fence line. I mean, it is older than me and it's been patched and repaired so many times that it needs to be replaced. So I've got the posts to do this. I do not have enough horizontal pipe. I would have to go buy some more, but that is an option. Second option would be to tear out this short section of fence here. This is about 10 feet long, and in the pile of pipe that I've got there, I could actually completely redo this and not have to buy any more pieces. It would basically use all of that pipe, and this does need to be done. I don't know if you can tell on camera, these posts are leaning quite a bit, not very strong. You can see it shakes a little bit. So it might be good to get this done. I could put a tall post in here, make a gate hoop, and basically get this section replaced. I could build a permanent hinge on the end here to hang this panel and actually make a proper gate out of this with like what I was wanting to do. So that's the second option. Third option is get rid of these temporary panels here and actually put permanent posts where they need to go. I don't think I have enough of the horizontal pipe to finish this, but I could probably get a top rail and maybe a mid rail. I'd have to go measure everything and check, but at least a top rail. That way, until I get enough pipe to finish this properly, I'd at least have a solid structure to tie the panels to in the meantime. This seems like it would be the easiest job, but it actually might be a little bit more hard than the others because making the fence up to here is no big deal, actually. But when I get to this point, I need to make this in such a way that I do have a removable panel here, because the concern is that if I make this all permanent, then there's no way to get that squeeze chute in and out of here. It would now be locked in place. So just in the event that I might build a new squeeze chute, buy a new squeeze chute, whatever it might be, I need to get this out of here. Or, like if this one breaks and it needs a major repair that would justify taking it out and back to the shop, I just don't like the idea of having that squeeze chute locked in here and having to like cut pipe down to get it out. So I'm not really sure exactly what all that would look like, but we could figure that out. I'm kind of leaning towards doing this bad section here because it does need to be done, and I've got enough material to just do this all and be completely done with it. But let me know what you guys think. All right, I need to get all these tools cleaned up, go home and eat some dinner, and then we got to move some cows. They know what I'm here to do. Before I can open the gates and turn them loose down here, I need to get all these hot wires set so that they don't have access to this entire pasture. I only want them to have access to about a day's worth of grass at a time. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.